Hello, ladies. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I do have a little bit of a bad news. I decided that I'm not going to do the reducing of the big cane, putting together and reducing of the big cane on live, because it seems that I'm absolutely incapable to coordinate with the weather. Because in order to do that, my hands shouldn't hurt, you know. And unfortunately, the weather seems to not be cooperating, and whenever it comes time for the live, something happens and I'm hurting. So I will be doing that as an upload, and that will be much easier for both you and me, because with an upload, if I tape the video, I can tape for 10 minutes, then if I start hurting, then I rest, and so on and so forth. So today I thought of showing you how I create something, and in the meantime also show you some tips. So let me say hello to everybody. Hi Elaine, I'm glad you're back. Thank you. Oh yeah, thank you Colleen, thank you Ilyanka, thank you Sharon, thank you Anna, thank you Ramona, thank you Marcy. Hi Gayleen. So as I told you before, I do make some of my pearlescent slash metallic clays from scratch. And I told you before that you can do that simply by using translucent and a mica powder. Going again to the mica powder problem. Whenever you purchase a mica powder, make sure that it says mica powder, not mica pigment. Thank you, Karen. Now, the truth is that the natural mica, the one that comes in flakes, can only be of two colors. One is goldish and one is silverish. Every other mica that you see colored in any other way is artificial mica, industrially created. But that doesn't make it in any way less beautiful. So how do you create your own pearlescent slash metallic clay? As I said, you need a translucent, and for this specific reason, for this specific purpose, you don't need it to be perfectly clear. That's fine. And to get back again for the people who didn't hear it before, you want mica powder, not mica pigment, because usually mica pigment is natural mica that would be goldish or silverish with a pigment added, but the mica itself is not colored. All right, so what you need to do is you need to get some translucent and then make it a little bit. And I decided not to make it ahead of time because I need to show you how to work with it. And make it a little bit softer than you would otherwise work it. So I added some clay softener. And talking about clay softener, I'm getting all the time messages, thank you Darla, about the clay softener, if it has to be the specific brand, like can you use Premo clay softener for Cernit, or can you use Cernit clay softener for Premo? It doesn't really matter, and honestly they're all about the same price. It is true that the Cernit one is more expensive, but it's more expensive because it's like 3.5 more as quantity in that bottle. I mean, just to, so this is the 2.82 fluid ounces, the Cernit, and the Scalpy one is actually not two and a half, 1 fluid ounce. So and there's the reason why the Cernit one is more. The only one that you don't need clay softener on, and I have to repeat this all the time, is Pardo, because Pardo is wax based. And if you haven't watched yet, now you do have YouTube has introduced a feature of searching on a specific channel. So if you go to my channel page, you can use the search tool there and just look for Pardo, and I have 2 or maybe even 3 tutorials on how to condition Pardo, and in one of them actually show a clay that I had for, I forgot how long it was, 10 years, something like that, that can be perfectly conditioned. But yeah, Pardo is a little bit more fussy when it comes to conditioning, and that is why it didn't catch much on the American market, because they introduced it in craft stores like Michael's and Hobby Lobby without any kind of instructions on how to condition it, and everybody tried to condition it the way that they condition all the other brands of clay, and it didn't work, and they thought, okay, this is crappy, when in fact Pardo is one of the most wonderful clays in existence. Thank you, Darla. Thank you, Sandra. Okay, so I have it right now. It's kind of like not really gooey, totally gooey, but it is very stretchable. So what I'm going to do is get it on a very thin, not super thin, but this was a 7 on a Makins, and then I'm going to place some, if my thing ever comes out of there, not you, what in the world? Oh, it got, look what happened. I have my thing is here. I need another one. There we go. I got it out. Okay, and I'm going to grab some of this. Actually, I didn't need this because I can use just the. And if you ask what did I use here, what am I using here, I found that I wouldn't mix Pardo and Premo. They are not the same. You're going to get a mess. They have a completely different consistency. You can try Pardo and Cernit, but I wouldn't do Skinner blend with Pardo and Premo. Most of the time I'm using mica powders from, hold on, let me give you the okay, it's a company named Nurture Soap. Let me get it on the display. And it did again mess up. Hold on. Okay, so Nurture Soap, it's nurturesoap.com, and I'm going to put the link directly in the chat. Yes, Nurture Soap. And because they have actually colored mica, not mica pigment, and they have all kinds of colors, as you can see. Sometimes they don't have the same color for too long of a time, more than like a year. They might come up with a new color. Probably depends on their suppliers. But as you can see, their micas are absolutely beautiful. And yes, these are micas for soaps, but they work perfectly in polymer clay. They have absolutely no. And if you want real red, the Firecracker is your best bet. I did use, this is the one that I use in my Petersite, faux Petersite. But as you can see, there's all kinds of colors, and the price is pretty good. I mean, what you've seen here, let me see, 150 is for a bag that's got pretty much almost as much as you get in the little Pearlexes. So this is, and I worked extensively with it. This is the 1 ounce. So as you can see, it's a lot, and the 1 ounce is $3.80. So the prices are, you cannot really beat them. Okay, so my god, yes, it's not expensive at all. Clean my thing here properly. And then why you have to be very careful about spreading it, because if you do not spread it properly, it's going to start puffing out whenever you start working on it, and you're gonna make a mess on your table. And also have the softener ready, because you might need to add a little bit more. See how it starts puffing up a little bit, puffing out, not up. So don't be too abrupt when handling it. At first go slow, and it's going to separate, because obviously powder makes polymer clay not stick to itself. Hi Adelaide. But if you are persistent, it's going to work. And just snatch with clay whatever falls on the tile, on the table. My cats have been feeling neglected. I had such a scare yesterday. I have a neighbor on the east side of my house who is in her 80s. Okay, she's still very, thank you Adelaide, she's still very active and everything, but like everybody who's getting a little bit older, she's very reluctant about taking any kind of advice from anybody, and especially when it comes to more modern stuff. I'm not going to. I mean, she's got her life choices, everybody is entitled to them. But the thing is that when these houses were built back in between 1942 and 1944, yes, my house is very old, like 80, almost 80 years old, was built in 1944. They came with a central furnace type of thing that in the meantime, I think that hers was the only house left with the original unit. In the meantime, everybody took them out. Some people still left the gas line there and made little fireplaces. But anyway, and no matter how much everybody was telling her, you know, you really should get rid of that thing because it's dangerous, it's old, it's not up to the standards. Oh no, this is her thing. And not only that, but I don't think she cleaned her chimney in at least 20 years. I mean, I've lived in this house for 22 years and I haven't seen her once getting anybody in to clean the chimney. So yesterday I hear big sirens and the boom boom outside on the street. When I look, 4 fire engines. I guess her chimney caught on fire because it's old and stuff and probably cracked. Some got out in her attic. You know what? I think I'm going to add some blue because this is not dark enough. Hi, Carlene. Hi, Nichidi. Thank you. So, anyway. They managed to get it under control really fast, but there was a little bit touch and go about the neighbors having to evacuate. So yeah, that was not a pleasant thing. Thank you, Randy. So as you noticed, I did add a little bit more clay softener because if you do not, adding the mica powder is going to firm up your clay and make it look like it's completely old and unconditioned. So again, every time you add mica powder, it has to be well softened. So that was it. It was not, as I said, it was not very pleasant. And I'm wiping all the softener here. Of course it gets sticky, but let me get it through the machine. Thank you, Carlene. Yeah, a big fire hazard. So if you're asking what color is this, it's rainforest. excuse me, I had an old whatchamacallit, condiments Lazy Susan thing, and did I put this back up? And the condiments were getting kind of old anyway, so I completely changed it. I put all the mica powders that were in bags, I put them in the condiments boxes, and I have myself a mica Lazy Susan. I'll show you if you want. I've been looking for another one because I still have some. I don't have, I would love to have a much darker green, but this is kind of the darkest that I have. I do have some Perlex darker green, but I have no idea how good it is. But 2 colors should add more to what I'm envisioning. Okay, so once again, clean my thing here. And you've seen me, I'm spreading as much as I can so it wouldn't be too thick of a layer, so that it wouldn't adhere to the clay. Yeah, it sticks to my hands, of course, because of all that clay softener. And then again, work very delicately. In the beginning it will not stick, but keep persisting. Yeah, it's scary. And that's the thing, that her attic caught on fire, because you can imagine that the house is being double brick and there's not a lot that can catch on fire. I mean, talking walls and stuff. But the attic, the roof is still on wooden beams, so that would definitely catch on fire. So I got kind of a turquoise tealish thing going on. I still think that I need to get a darker green just to have a hand. And another thing that I want to look, it's just Premo translucent. Plain Premo translucent, because, and I'm working with Premo generally speaking when I do lives, because with the other ones, due to the fact that the translucent is opaque until baked, you cannot see the effects. But with the Premo you can, especially if I put resin on top of it. Even if it's unbaked, you can still see what's going on. Okay. And when do you know? You're gonna ask, okay, so when do you know if you did put enough mica powder? It's very simple. It's whenever you start seeing mica shift when you fold it. As you can see, it kind of started a little bit, but it's not full yet, so I'm gonna use more blue. And you just keep doing until you're happy. I grabbed a different one. Oh my goodness. Yeah, somebody asked me, what are you doing special for your birthday? And I said, I'm gonna be online for my friends, with my friends to celebrate. And then I don't know, just be lazy. It's my birthday. I cooked yesterday stuff that I can eat today, so I wouldn't have to be bothered with that. Yeah, I can tell you something though. It seems like with all these weather patterns, something weird is happening with the barometer, because before, whenever it would be, you know, like a storm system coming over, it would be okay, and then when the low would get to us, the barometer would drop. No, not yet. I'm still missing about $150 to get it, but it's gonna be there. Thank you. And recently, though, I noticed in the last few months, the barometer goes down way before the storm system is like a state away, and the barometer already plummets. So, and then it will keep plummeting, and then a lot of times when the storm is here, it just goes back up. I mean, I'm like, this is supposed to be a low. That's why it's called a low. What are you doing? You know, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, this can happen. Don't worry. Just keep rolling. You know, like kind of like in the, just keep swimming. Actually, the blue is not from Nurture Soaps. The blue is the Black Diamond. You can find it on Amazon. If you look on my Amazon influencer store, Black Diamond is also a wonderful mica thing. It actually makes micas for car colors, and it's all that iridescent stuff, but they are way more expensive than Nurture Soap, and they don't have small quantities usually. Oh, I had a dog who was my poor Betsy. Betsy was a Yorkie poo. She was the most adorable thing. She died when she was like 2 months shy of her 20th birthday, so she lived a long time. But I always knew when there was a tornadic storm coming, because she would start pacing, and if a tornado was starting to form, she would ask to be picked up. So that's how you knew that thing is about to get real. I said thing. Okay. Yeah, I did. It's okay. It's not as blitzy. Thank you, Carlene. Thank you so much. But remember, guys, if you want to help me, the best thing to do is to go and donate through my website or my blog. Thank you so much, because whatever you donate in the chat, YouTube takes about half of it. While if you use a donation link directly to my PayPal account, it's only like, I don't know, 0.5%. But thank you anyway. That's going to be very, very helpful. Okay, so let me see. I'm starting to get it. Let me get it on a thicker setting. But you know what? I don't think I'm gonna continue with this because it takes too long. I do have some that are ready made, because I keep them there. I just need to run them through the pasta machine a couple times. Let's see. No, this is. I'm not sure if I have greens. That's a tealy green. The camera still shows it blue, but I assure you it's a green. Yeah, that's the only green I have. Thank you, Kim. I hope you get well soon. And with this, you'll be able to see how it's supposed to look. But just to give you an idea, see the difference. This is actually like a pine tree green, a viridian. Oh no, it's not. That's for me. This is just this is it. I really need to learn to put my eyeglasses on whenever I do stuff like this. There we go. There's my greens. Okay, now these indeed are greens, so let me actually grab this one. And yes, these are all pearlescents. These actually they don't do the green pearl anymore, but this one you can obtain it by mixing green pearl with gold, if you still have any green pearl left. My phone is ringing. I got to turn it off for the duration of the live. Okay, so what I was talking about, the mica shift line. See, right here. This is mica shifty. You can also check it with just trying to do a little bit of a mica shift shave. Just, you know, to test it. And you can see it leaves a mica shift. So that's what you're supposed to do. So what I'm going to do it, so did they schedule you for surgery, Kim? Or not yet? I'm just getting it a little bit okay. So I'm going to start chopping it. You can do like for the, if you remember when I did the full burwood jewelry box, just get it in a sheet and then just grab little pieces. Temu, no, I've never heard of them. I'm gonna have to check them. Are they American suppliers, Canadian, European? What are they? Okay, and I want a very fine. Oh, it's a Chinese thing. I'll have to look out for that. Well, sometimes I do get things from AliExpress. I didn't in the last couple of years, but I used to, you know, order some things, and when I would see that they were okay, I would tell Trish from PolyClay, and then she would order more to have in her store. Also, they probably have a warehouse on the US territory. That's why it's much easier to, much faster shipping. But to be very honest, I really couldn't complain about AliExpress. I mean, I had to wait anywhere between a week and 10 days. So it was never too much. I think that this would look good with red or even blue. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just getting it well consolidated, and that's what I was saying. So you can see the mica shift because it's Premo. You can see the mica shift already without having it baked. Just make sure that you do it very, very, very tightly packed. Okay, so this is it. This is one. And this. I forgot to turn down the heat. And it's getting very super hot in here. Okay, my next thing goodness. I don't understand these people, I'm sorry. I've had my share of bad doctors. Like I still remember the worst. The worst was a rheumatologist. Pretty much when was it? Not long after, about in the first year after I had the breast cancer surgery. I started having really bad pain in my left knee. So after a lot of waiting and stuff, they sent me to a rheumatologist. And they sent me to a rheumatologist who went ahead and ordered a whole bunch of blood tests. And then of course I had to go 2 weeks later to follow up on the blood test to decide what it is. Because what he wanted to do was oh, you probably have rheumatism, arthritis, and we have to see how extended it is so I know what to prescribe to you. And so I go. Now, keep in mind, he did not order MRIs, he did not order even X-ray, he did not order any kind of imaging tests. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Naomi. I hope you feel better soon. Try to drink a lot of chamomile tea. It's kind of like a natural bacteria killer. Anyway, he's like, oh yes, you do have, and I'm like, do you mind, can I please take a look at those results? And he kind of grimaced, and I was like, sure. And when I looked, I'm like, if my C-reactive protein shows trace, that means it's barely anything there to even count. You cannot count. Why do you think I have inflammatory arthritis? Well, because your symptoms and blah blah blah, and you need to take Plaquenil. And I said, so did you even look at my file? And it says there that I'm a former medical professional. And not only that, but in my family history, my mother has macular degeneration, and I have really serious problems with my eyes. How can you prescribe Plaquenil to me when the main concern with that medication is macular degeneration? Well, you either take Plaquenil or find another doctor. And I said, well, then it was not nice knowing you. And I got out of there. And guess what? I went to another doctor, and they did an MRI, and I had a torn meniscus. So I was completely out of the field for me to even take a rheumatism medication. Was Okay, so what I want to do now is just stretch it. I don't want to go with it through the machine because I don't want my mica shift to get messed up. I will grab some wax paper. And I'm telling you, it's so hard when your hands are hurting. Oh my God. Vascular necrosis is not something to joke with. Alrighty. Now I got this. Actually, I'm going to move it to the baking tile. So you can already see there's mica shift here. And you've seen my videos, you know that this is one of my most favorite things. Now I'm going to try and find my skinny blades. There they are. Exactly. I mean, that was clear that that guy was just a pill pusher. Probably with commission and didn't really care what issues their patients might get. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, so I am going to cut a thin slice. And with this I can do I made more because I can make not just a pendant but also earrings and stuff. So, and the beauty of it, when you make this kind of stuff, if anything gets messed up, all you do is just put it back in the machine, do the sheet, obtain the sheet, and then all you have to do is to redo the whole stack. Okay, so there we are. And I'm going to cut two I want to make sure that it's straight. And I need some black. Chum. Shark Fin Frenzy, I hear you, my guys. Their feeding time is at 7 in the afternoon, in the evening. Not the afternoon, that's evening by 7. And if I dare to be, they start stirring up at about 6:45. Where's my black? I thought I had black here. But if I'm too late, they start raising, you know what. Okay, I guess I don't have black here. I'm gonna have to get some black. What chum? What are you talking about? I'm losing it. I don't know what people are talking about. What chum? Hi, Sonia. That's not for now. Oh, I got it. am very limited in my choice of cat food because of Finnegan. I'm making something, I'm creating. I'm all into the creation. Creation throws. Okay, so this has to be the same. Pretty much the same. One of them. And the other one much thinner. So, alrighty. Hey, it broke. I broke it. To try not to break it, you know? And I don't know how it is where you are, ladies, but where I am, allergies are up. So this needs to be perfectly straight. What in the world is going on here? I know it's a very, very simple design, but I promise you it's going to look pretty. I don't know, I stopped using the neti pot because I don't trust any kind of water anymore. And buying pre-prepared saline is too expensive. And I used to use the neti pot a lot when it was about... What did I do with my... Oh great, I crunched my... but now with all these brain-eating amoeba, I'm a little worried because my pennies started sprouting. And it's supposed to get to freezing, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday night. And my pennies are like a foot tall, one of them, the ones that aren't ruffled. But I got all kinds of stuff. My forsythia is in full bloom. Okay, do I want it this big? Yeah, let's go for it. No, it's too big. Let me get a smaller one. Or I can cut it. Yeah, saline spray doesn't do a thing to me. Okay, because I want this to be Okay, so this would be one part of an earring. Yeah. I'm gonna put resin on it so you can see the whole thing. And then I'm going to use another slice to make an upper part. Righty, so this. Yeah, and if you're asking why I'm so, pardon my French, anal about putting stuff back where it belongs when I'm done with it, is that if I don't do that, I completely forget what I did with it. So it can become super frustrating. Okay, so I'm gonna have another. As I said, it's a very simple, super simple design. And this would come here. And I might actually put some white around it, but I don't know. This would be it. I'm gonna, of course, redo this and just bake it. But let me put some resin on it so you can see how it looks like. I'm going to bake it and sand it and buff it. And this would work, as I was saying, this would work good with red, with burgundy, with that blue, that blue mica powder will work good. Just get it all the way out. Should I do this? Let me do this to the little one. I have my keys in a specific pocket of my purse. Only there. Okay, let me get it hardened up so. Oh, I did a really bad thing the other day, talking about not putting things where they belong. I have these back scratchers that are like tiny little metal hands on a telescopic metal thing, but the handle is plastic. And yesterday I did some chicken thighs. Yes, give me your thumbs up for my birthday. So I did some chicken thighs, and very easy, you know, line a baking pan with aluminum foil, put the chicken thighs in it, put the spices on, cover with aluminum foil, put in the oven. About not even 10 minutes after I put it in the oven, I start smelling this horrible smell of burnt plastic. Like, what is it? What is it? It was coming from the oven. And I'm like, what the heck is smelling like plastic in the oven? And then I figured out what had happened. When I I scrunched the aluminum foil on the edges. Apparently I caught that back scratcher, which I have no idea why I've put on the kitchen counter. And it got in the oven on a tray. And of course the plastic handle started burning, so yeah, all kinds of stuff. Thank you, Carla. Okay, I'm waiting for this. And if I didn't answer to you yet on Facebook, I'll get there. I promise you. Yeah, I still lose things, and you know how they say that if you lose something and then you go and buy another one, and the moment it arrives, you find the one that you lost. With me, it's not like that. I usually lose it, then I might lose a second one. Okay, let me turn this more natural. And then when I start reorganizing stuff, that's when I find it. Oh. And I find all the ones that I lost. So I usually find myself with 2 or 3 of the same thing. Okay. So I hope you can see all the... Of course I would work a little bit more careful, but you can see the whole mica shifty effect on this. And again, it's a very, very simple thing. It doesn't require all kinds of textures, all kinds of stuff. It's just, and you can work with rectangles and triangles and lines like this all the time, and especially using this chopping thing, mica shift effect, makes them look gorgeous. I mean, you can use black and then do all the lines. You can just make 2 lines on the end here. You can do all kinds of effects. So this is one way, and you can make it round. I mean, all kinds of things, but you can see how, and again, I think I'm gonna put some white around this. And I got this idea, I'm gonna laugh, I got this idea from, I was watching a video today about banks and graphs, and I was looking at those graphs and I saw this. Crazy, huh? Yeah. Oh well. So I hope to be able to finish that cane this week. We are not supposed to have rain until, let me see, Thursday. So I would have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to be able to work on stuff. And just keeping you, yes it does, just keeping you aware of the fact, want to remind you the fact that I live in Tornado Alley, and normally we get kind of starting now, but not so bad, even if we already had one at the end of February. We start getting tornadic storms. The peak is in May. Normally, usually, we don't get anything until like 4, maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon, but sometimes they do come in the morning, sometimes they do come at noon, sometimes they might be until late, very late at night, and I might be too tired to. So starting spring, and I did that, and I warned everybody before, started spring, there might be some rescheduling. It all depends on the weather. So thank you so much for being here with me for my birthday, and for all the happy birthdays and all the helps. And don't forget to thumbs up. And I'm going to be nice and rested with my kitties and try play around with all these kind of things, because I'm sure that you can come up with more ideas and more colors and more everything. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.